Hey guys, it's me, Mr. 250, and welcome back to Umineko. Why not do another one of these? I'm having a lot of fun. And we're putting on a lock after everyone freaked out about the whole thing. And I'm sure that's all that's going to happen and everything's going to go well and the police are going to come and they're going to find the crazy hobo in the woods. Genji fished around inside the storehouse and unsealed a brand new padlock which had been inside a small box. How do we know that you're not the one that did it? Natsui took the key to the padlock from Genji's hand. After that, they forgot to put on the text box. There we go, now we got the text box. Because of that, the corpses were once again sealed behind that shutter, covered with that gruesome magic circle. Genji crouched down in front of the shutter to fasten the new padlock. In addition to the main lock on the shutter, there's sometimes a place where you can attach your own lock in front of it. This was one of those types. In the midst of the roar of thunder and the pouring rain, the storehouse stood there, ominously. With its closed shutter still covered in a blood-like creepy substance, it swallowed up the bodies of the six. To Natsui, putting the new lock on wasn't mainly to preserve the scene for the police. She might have felt like she wanted to shut that mouth for all eternity. To prevent the victims from being swallowed any more by that eerie demon. I don't know, Natsui. You seem a little bit too calm right now. And I mean, maybe you're trying to, be the adult here and stuff, but you seem a little bit calm for this whole thing, I gotta say. The adults left the storehouse. The ghastly magic circle drawn in the shutter. Still, swallowing the six bodies loomed eerily, occasionally lit up by the lightning. Bum bum bum. Spooky magic circles. Hey, Maria, your mom, she went on a long trip. She's gonna be gone for a while. All that could be heard was the sound of the rain, the voices from the kids' television program that Maria was watching, and the engrossed Maria's cackling voice. In other words, what greeted them as they returned dumbfounded from that horrible, bizarre scene was the voice of Maria as she rolled around laughing at the television. Without knowing how to explain to Maria that her mother, Rosa, was dead, those who returned to the room couldn't manage any more than a suffocating silence. At first, Maria returned their stares with a dubious look, but when she realized that they weren't trying to blame her for anything, she ignored them and again immersed herself in the television program. I guess that's good for us, we don't have to explain it to her. The children wordlessly sat down on the sofa. Their minds were probably blank from their state of shock. Everyone had already cried and mourned so much, but now, they just sat vaguely there, their faces expressionless. Only Cannon had returned to his usual calm expression. However, that probably didn't mean he had been able to wipe out the shock. Nothing was reflected in his eyes as he stared into the emptiness. Hideyoshi, fidgeting as he remembered that horrible scene, kept muttering, "Unbelievable. That can't be something of this world. It's the work of the devil." Every once in a while, he tried to ask a question and bumped into Nanjo. But Nanjo, in a calm doctor-like manner, kept repeating that nothing could be understood by only glancing at the scene, and that until the police arrived, he wouldn't know anything. However, Nanjo only appeared calm next to Hideyoshi, who was agitated and fearful to the utmost. In fact, Nanjo had also received a huge shock, his face a deathly pale. Maybe it was because of their attitudes that Natsui tried to rise to the challenge and take control. Natsui was apparently unchanged from her normal attitude, and she briskly gave directions.
現時は急ぎ警察へ連絡を。
かしこまりました。
私も一緒させていただいていいかしら、夏日姉さん。クラウス兄さんがいなくなった以上、お父様の補佐は私の仕事だもの。その私が夏日姉さんに任せっきりでここでくつろいでいるわけにはいかないわ。
Natsui was struck speechless by Eva's aggressive actions in a situation like this. It seemed that she was claiming that, with Cross dead, the one to take responsibility should not be his wife, but herself, the next highly ranked in the family. Possibly, she had not been happy at all when Natsui had ignored her in this extreme situation. Naturally, Eva's mind had been blank from the shock until just now. She had only returned to herself after Natsui started giving orders.
お好きになさるといいでしょう。
Natsui, without saying anything more, walked out. Eva followed behind her. As they did, Kumasawa ran into the parlor. Since she normally wasn't the kind of person to run around, anyone would guess that something had happened. But since everyone had been stricken by that earlier shock, this level of a disturbance didn't overly trouble them.
奥様、夏日姉さんならお父さんのところへ行ったで。すぐ戻ってくるやろ。どないしたんや、熊沢さん。それが食堂に血が。
Someone else dying there? Or I wonder if that's where they were killed, and then they got dragged into the storage room. Everyone in the parlor turned to listen. Everyone thought the same thing. I hope I misheard that. Just like how any container has a limit to how much you can put in it, no one felt like they could accept any more tragedies beyond what had already happened. So they all thought it. I hope I misheard that.
なんやて？食堂？朝食の準備に食堂に配膳に行ったら。
George ran straight for it. His harsh footsteps jogged Hideyoshi and Nanzo to their senses, and they chased after him. Battler and the others followed. They flew into the dining hall one after another, but they didn't find any change that would have caused Kumasawa to go pale. To those who had viewed that gruesome scene in the storehouse, it was a bit of an anticlimax. However, Kumasawa, who had followed them, pointed it out. There really were some traces of blood remaining on the floor. Compared to that terrible scene, it was not very impressive. However, if you calmly thought about it, this definitely indicated the loss of a lot of blood.
ここにも血だまりがあるよ。これは一体。
だいぶ時間が経っているように見えますな。おそらく昨夜、ここで殺されたんだと見ていいでしょう。
そういうことになるんやろな。わしらは昨夜ずっと食堂で話し合いをしとった。
Told you guys to look out for the crazy hobo in the woods. Now he comes out and kills
そ
everybody.
してここに何者かが押し入ったに違いない。
父さんたちが打ち合わせを抜けて休んだのは何時だっけ？
昨夜の24時を少し過ぎたくらいの頃や。だからその後にと考えるんが妥当やろうな。
マジかよ。勘弁してくれよ。お嬢様、しっかり。
俺はもうさっきの倉庫でこの世の地獄ってやつを拝んじまったから、今さらこのくらいじゃ答えねえぜ。
そうかよ。よかったな。私は頭がどうにかなっちまいそうだぜ。ここは食堂だぜ。私は毎日ここで食事をして、学校のことをぼやいたり、宿題のことをぼやいたり、親父に学校の成績の話をされたり、そういうところなんだぜ。お嬢様、これ以上ここにいるのはよくありません。100万へ戻りましょう。
俺も同感さ。秀吉おじさん、 この部屋は多分警察にとって重要な意味があると思います。俺たちが踏み荒らしちまうのはまずいんじゃないですか。
Battler proposed this in a slightly powerful voice as, along with Cannon, he grabbed the pail and shaking Jessica's shoulders.
バトラさんの言う通りですな。この部屋にこれ以上好んで居続けることはありますまい。
Nanjo spoke while looking at everyone's pale face. Even though that horrible scene in the storehouse had felt like something not of this world, at least then we had been able to leave. We had been able to leave. To cut ourselves off from that place and run away. Everyone had shared in that feeling. However, this dining hall was different. It was in the main wing of the mansion, and, as Jessica had said, the inside of the mansion was supposed to be the one place where we could feel secure. It was the same place that all of the relatives had eaten lunch and dinner yesterday. The shock of seeing this place smeared with blood reminded us of that horrible spectacle in the storehouse, and forced us to accept that we really hadn't been able to run away from that scene of that tragedy.
わしも同感や。この部屋には犯人の痕跡が残ってるかもわからんしな。素人のわしらがかき回すべきとちゃうで。はよ出るんや。はよはよ。
Hideyoshi also understood the meaning of what Battler had said, and pushed everyone to hurry out of the dining hall. The way we were then, looking at that blood any longer would have been too harsh. Nobody went against his words. Everyone raced each other out of the dining hall. It was almost as though the last person in the room would be trapped there, all alone. Kind of like that when you turn off the light, you quickly run out of the room because you don't want the boogeyman to get you. Once in the hallway, we helped Kumasawa, who was still trembling and leaning against the wall, and we all headed back to the parlor together. Then, Genji returned.
お、源氏さん、警察に連絡はつきましたか?
Unfortunately, yep, I knew it. Unfortunately, the radio isn't working.
それ以外の理由によるものかわかりませんが。
なんや、警察に連絡がつかんのか。
Oh, we certainly tried.
どっちもダメなんか。
申し訳ございません。月曜の朝に船が来ることになっていますので、その船の通信機を借りることができると思います。
この島には船はないんか。新島の警察署までちょっくら行ってくることはできんのか。
Unfortunately, we don't keep a boat here because we don't expect that to happen. Oh yeah, that too.
少なくとも台風が通り過ぎるまではどうにもなりません。
クラウス様のボートは今、
Yep.
修理中で島にございます。
Because, it would just be far too easy to have a boat sitting here.
ですので、月曜の船を待つほかないかと。
そんなアホな話があるか。6人も死んだんやで。そして電話も無線も通じず。
I know, all oddly convenient, or inconvenient for these people, of course.
台風が過ぎて船が来るまで、つまり明日の朝までわしらは警察にも連絡できず、この島におれっちゅうことなんか。
ってことはつまり俺たちだけじゃなくおじさんたちを殺した犯人もこの島から出られず足止めってことだな。
そういうことになるね。
So this is starting to remind me a lot of Banshee's Last Cry. That was a fun game. I really wish that came on. I really wish there's an easy way to record iPhone stuff because it's kind of difficult to do. Otherwise, I would play that for you guys. That one's a fun one.
みんなを殺した犯人はまだこの島にいる。
親父たちを殺した奴はこの島から逃げ出せずまだ潜んでやがるってことかよ。くそ見つけ出してやるぜ。警察になんか引き渡すもんか。私がこの手でやっつ先にしてやる。
Maria had finally realized, that something was odd in the parlor. Rather than noticing something odd, It was probably better to say that she felt unhappy and neglected since everyone was getting so excited about something only she didn't know about.
おー、ジェシカお姉ちゃん、誰か死んじゃったの？
The way she spoke was completely calm and mildly unsettling, just as though she was talking about someone who had appeared on a television drama, as though it was someone else's problem. Jessica probably didn't like that. As though trying to say, "Can't you tell just by looking at me, overwhelmed with grief?" She flared up against Maria.
死んじまったぜ。みんな。私の親父も、パトラの父さんと母さんも、コーダさんもシャノンも、そしてマリアの母さんも。
よすんだジェシカちゃん。悲しいのは君だけじゃない。
マリアさん、ショックだろうが聞いてください。あなたのお母さんがな、死んでしまいました。
ママが死んじゃった？おー。
ああ、誰かに殺されちまった。悲しいだろうがよ。心をしっかり。
死んじゃった？
6人だぜ。6人だ。
I kind of expected this to happen, but even still, it's very unnerving how unconcerned she seems to be about this whole thing.
くそあんな残酷なことしやがって。踊ってもんがあるだろうがよ。人間ならよ。誰だか知らねえが、犯人は人間じゃねえぜ。血の色が赤いわけがねえ。
犯人は人間じゃない。
Oh, yep. I knew it.
鍵が選んだ生贄なだけ。
Now, what does that mean? That's probably like a translation thing there. Is that supposed to be like something that she just omitted from her sentence? Yeah.
マリア、今、なんて言った？
Oh, is that supposed to be something whispered under her breath so nobody could really hear it very well? Maria had just said something. But since the words were so remotely separated from the flow and context of the conversation, for a second, I couldn't understand them. When I tried to ask her to repeat it again, I was shocked by the sudden sound of Aunt Natsui's loud voice coming from the entrance to the parlor. It looked like Aunt Natsui and Aunt Eva had returned from their trip to see grandfather. Is he dead too?
無線でも連絡できない？こんな時に使えなくて、何のための防災無線ですか？
申し訳ございま
We
せん。
should have like a backup emergency radio.
毎年保守点検はさせているはずなのですが。
Though I bet it would conveniently be broken as well if we had one.
ほら、光をチカチカさせるみたいな船舶信号ってあるじゃない？そういうので向こうの島に連絡することはできないのかしら？
Probably not through this weather.
そのような設備はございません。申し訳ございません。
Just then, Kumasawa came pushing a serving cart loaded with breakfast. Since there was no way we would be able to eat in the dining hall, Hideyoshi ordered her to take it into the parlor.
なぜ朝食をこちらに？
Because we're not eating it in there.
ああ、夏樹さん、それは後で話す。それよりエヴァ、お父さんはどうなんや？
ご一緒でないところを見ると、このような事態になっても部屋から出ませんか？
いないわ。部屋は空っぽだったのよ。
Uh-oh.
なんやて？
I forgot I was supposed to do this last time. I kept hearing that water droplet sound, and I forgot what that meant, because it's been a while since I've heard it. That means something in here's changed. Now, obviously, they're talking about Kinzo, disappeared from his study unnoticed. Kinzo's study has everything from a bed to a toilet to a bathtub, so it's extremely rare for him to go outside. However, he does occasionally go out for a walk on a whim without telling anybody, and its disappearance invariably leads to a huge uproar through the house. He usually comes back as soon as he gets hungry. Usually. Let's see. Oh man. Dead. Yeah, look, he dead. His corpse was found inside the Rose Garden storehouse. The direct cause of death is unknown, but it seems the side of his head was smashed after his death. This is the beginning of everything. His corpse was found inside the Rose Garden storehouse. It seems to be smashed in. He has the right to limit his ill fortune. Her corpse was found inside the Rose Garden storehouse. Her face seems to have been smashed in after death. She was chosen by the demon's roulette. That's all there is to it. Oh, the way these are worded is really interesting. I like it. Her corpse was found inside the Rose Garden. Her face seems to have been smashed in. We'll be able to see her again. No need to feel lonely. Her corpse was found inside. Smashed. Don't worry. Everyone will be revived in the Golden Land. And his corpse is found inside the Rose Garden storehouse. How unfortunate. Apparently, he was supposed to be on duty in the guest house. It's like the first part is very, very standard written. The second half of these is like almost, it feels like it's written by someone else. Like, possibly Beatrice. I don't know. Anyway, let's keep going. Sorry, I remembered I needed to do that.
こんな時にどこ行ったんや。
親方様が書斎を出られたというのですか。
そうです。私も驚いています。いつの間に部屋を出たのやら。あなたたちに心当たりはないのですか。
Natsumi looked at Genji and Kanon as she said this. Maybe she was trying to ask whether the servants who served directly under the one-winged eagle would know of a place he might go. However, it was probably the other way around. Their faces made it clear that those who knew Kinzo best realized more than the rest how impossible it was for him to leave his room.
僕たちにも見当が。
ご存知の通り、親方様はあの書斎の中に、お休みの場所からご不浄まで全てを設けさせました。親方様があの部屋をお出になることなど、
Like the revival of Beatrice?
考えられません。
となると、なんや、そのよっぽどのことがあったって考えるのが自然だっちゅうことになるんか。
まだそうと決まったわけではありません。とにかく気まぐれな方ですから、現状をご存知なくお一人で散歩をされている可能性もあります。仮にそうだとしたら、一刻も早く現状をお知らせしてご指示を仰がねばなりません。
そうね、考えたくはないけど、お父様の身に何かあったのかもしれないしね。
そのような不吉なことは考えたくもありません。
No one had seen Kinzo since the 6 horrible corpses had been found. On top of that, the phones were broken, the radio wouldn't reach anyone, and there was no way to contact the police. It looked like the typhoon would leave tomorrow and a boat would come. Until then, no one could rely on anyone outside the island, nor could they escape the island. Everyone had lost their composure at the extremely sudden tragedy. Everyone felt a heavy silence. Everyone was impatient. Even though they needed to do something, they couldn't think of anything. So some of them held their heads in their arms, while others got irritated. Right now, no one could explain what was occurring on this island, Rokinjima. Mystery and suspense awaits. So what, are we just gonna kind of like chill out until something else happens? Yeah. Breakfast dry and tasteless. Yum. Yeah, so we'll come back here next time. It's, interesting. There's something especially ominous about how that's written. That's all there is to it. He has the right to lament his ill fortune. We'll get to see her again, no need to feel lonely. This is the beginning of everything. Apparently he was supposed to be on duty in the guest house. And everyone will be revived in the Golden Land, which is something that I believe we were told before or something. In that little riddle thing. Ooh. Should be fun. If a little sinister. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!